Hey, what's going on, guys? Ghost619 here, and today what I'm bringing you guys is another top 5. So this week's top 5 is going to be the top 5 most overrated elite guns in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. So all these guns are commented down below by you guys on last week's top 5, which was the top 5 best marksman variants in Advanced Warfare. So next week's top 5 is going to be the top 5 most underrated elite guns in Advanced Warfare. So name a gun that is actually really good that no one really uses. For example, I think that the Pytac loophole, that is very underrated. I don't see no one using that weapon. It's actually really good. So that would definitely be on the list of the most underrated elite guns in Advanced Warfare. So just name down below what is a gun that no one really talks about, but it's actually pretty decent. So just go ahead and name those down below in the comment section, and this top 5 is going to be the top 5 most overrated elite guns, which these guns that I'm about to name, they get too much hype, but in reality, they're not that good. They're not that good compared to other professional weapons, and maybe enlisted weapons as well. So hopefully you guys will enjoy this week's top 5, and let's get right into it. So coming out the number 5 spot is going to be the Morris Silver Bullet, and this gun has +2 in damage, +1 in accuracy, for -1 fire rate, and -1 in handling. So in reality, people think that the +2 in damage, people think that this means that this gun is going to get no hit markers whatsoever, but that's what I thought about with this gun. I thought that this gun, the +2 in damage, I thought that would mean that, oh, this gun is not going to get no hit markers at all, but that is wall penetration. I think that most people get that wrong. Most people don't know that the +2 in damage, it's actually wall penetration. So basically this is very good for trick shotting and wall banging. So it's not that good of an elite weapon. It's overhyped, and that's why it's very overrated. So that is number 5, the Morris Silver Bullet. It does look pretty cool. That's the only thing I gotta say about it. But that's number 5. Coming at the number 4 spot is going to be the SN6 Money, and the SN6 Money, it's basically the same thing as the marksman variant of the SN6, which is actually called the SN6 Magistrate. So the SN6 Money actually has +1 range, +1 in accuracy, +1 in reserve ammo, -1 handling, and -2 mobility, and the Magistrate has the same stats of the Money, except for the Money actually has the reserve ammo as well as another decrease in mobility. So you're better off with the SN6 Magistrate because you really don't want to aim down sights slow with the SMG. You don't really want that to happen, So I think that the SN6 Magistrate is definitely better than the Money. So that's why the Money is very overrated, because it's the same thing but has -1 mobility, and it has the reserve magazine than the SN6 Magistrate. So coming up the number 3 spot is going to be the IMR Bore Strike, and this gun has +2 in range, +1 in damage, -2 in accuracy, and -1 in fire rate. So this is the second best, or maybe even the third best IMR, just because there is an enlisted variant of the IMR that has the same 4-shot range as this one, which the Bore Strike, it actually can one burst across basically any map, and the enlisted variant, which is called the IMR Impact, that could actually one burst the same range as the Bore Strike. But the reason why the IMR Impact, which that has +1 in damage, full -1 in range, the reason why that's better than the IMR Bore Strike, which the Bore Strike, it kind of gets too much hype, is the reason is because you could definitely feel the fire rate nerf on the IMR Bore Strike. You definitely feel the accuracy nerf. So that's two things you don't want at all on the IMR. On the IMR you definitely would want accuracy, because this is a very accurate gun in general, and it's pretty good to have a fire rate buff if you wanted that too. So the Bore Strike gets too much hype. I was actually excited to get this, but when I used it, it's not that good. I have variants that are better than this, like the IMR Hush and some other variants too. So that is number 3, the IMR Bore Strike. So coming out the number 2 spot is going to be the ARX Steel Bite, and this gun has +3 in damage, -2 in accuracy, and -1 in fire rate. So this gun does get too much hype, and the reason is because some people think that the +3 in damage is better than +2 damage, which is the ARX Hole Puncher, but the extra damage on the Steel Bite, it has +3 damage. Well, 1 out of the 3 damage in the steel bite is actually wall penetration. So the ARX hole puncher, that is a ARX without the wall penetration, and the ARX steel bite that has, you know, extra wall penetration. So the +3, the extra damage in the steel bite does not mean really anything. You know, you're not going to be just wall banging people with a gun in Advanced Warfare, because I don't see that at all really happen. And then plus the hole puncher is definitely better because the hole puncher does not have a fire rate nerf or an accuracy nerf. So this gun does get too much hype, but I gotta say this is the best looking gun in the game. So that is number 2, the ARX steel bite. So coming up at number 1 spot, the most overrated elite gun in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, and that is the AK-12 RIP. So this gun gets too much hype in my opinion, and don't get me wrong, the RIP, it's a good weapon, but other variants of the AK-12, for example the hair trigger, is in my opinion better, and I'll tell you why. So the AK-12 RIP has +1 damage, which that means that this gun will 4-shot anywhere, no matter what map, no matter what range, 4-shot all the time, alright? And this gun has +1 in damage, +2 in accuracy, for -1 mobility, and -2 in magazine size. So you start off with 22 bullets, which is very horrible to start off with. And if you put extended mags, it's 33 bullets, which is not a lot. So every game you start off with the RIP, you're gonna have to keep on reloading constantly every single time you get a kill, you know? No matter what, you're going to be reloading probably guaranteed 20+ times a match with the AK-12 RIP, and I don't think that's good at all. You know, having low ammo is not good at all in general, so I think that other variants like the AK-12 feeder and the AK-12 hair trigger especially is better than the RIP, because the AK-12 RIP, you know, it has +2 in accuracy, which in my opinion, you don't need extra accuracy on a gun that's already one of the most accurate ARs, you know, in the whole entire game, you know, because for one, this gun has low ammo, which that's very bad to have. You know, sometimes, you know how it's always a 4-shot, sometimes that could be bad in most situations, because most guns like the Obsidian Steed could easily beat that. Insanity could easily beat that, because the Insanity has a +2 in fire rate, which deals really heavy, a really fast time to kill. So the other guns, other dominant elite guns like the hole puncher and stuff, that could easily beat the AK-12 RIP, and you know, even maybe the IMR, because that gun's very accurate, and plus that is a 4-round burst weapon. But the IMR bore strike versus the RIP has to win, because you know, the bore strike, it 4-shots anywhere across the map, and same with the RIP. But the thing is, the bore strike has a -1 in fire rate, so I guess I could say, you know, the RIP is better than the bore strike. But there are other guns like variants of the AK hair trigger, in my opinion. I hear that it does nothing on other consoles like PS3 or Xbox One. I don't know about you guys, but on PS4 the hair trigger actually does work. You definitely do notice the fire rate buff. If you guys have a PS4 and have the hair trigger, you will know what I'm talking about. So I think the AK-12 RIP, it gets too much hype. It's not a bad weapon, but I do think there are other weapons. For example, the Insanity is obviously better. The Obsidian Steed and other guns are, you know, better than the RIP, and outgun that gun. And by the way, I've actually gotten the RIP more than 4 times, and I know with experience, I've had this gun for like more than 2 or 3 months, and I know that there are better weapons. So I've had experience with this weapon, so that's why I'm talking about how there are better weapons, because I actually had experience with this weapon. I've dropped multiple DNA bombs with this gun, and I know that there are guns that are easier to drop DNAs with. You know, it just depends on your playstyle as well as your gun you're using, because if you're using the NA45, you're gonna have a different playstyle. You know, if you're using a Mayhem, you're gonna have a different playstyle. So it just depends on your gun with your playstyle. With, for example, the AK-12 RIP, it's kind of, you know, a long-range weapon as well, medium to long-range weapon. So I've had experience with this gun. I know that there are better elite guns than the RIP. So that was pretty much today's video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Just comment down below for next week's top 5, the top 5 most underrated elite guns in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. So I'm Ghost619, and I'm out of here. Peace out.